What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Phase 6, your source for music, business, motivation, and support. It's your boy, Sir Love. I got another dope topic for you guys today. We're getting ready to talk about smoke and mirrors in this game, or what I like to call flash and bush. BS, all right? We're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about how it impacts the game. You guys may be aware of this. I promise you, if you're doing anything in the game for real, you're going to be very aware of what I'm getting ready to talk about. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about why it exists. I'm going to talk about the strategy. I want to give you guys insight on these different things in the game. And if you're not in the game, maybe you'll start doing this stuff, and you'll understand why and how and all those good type of things. So let's jump into it. One thing that you guys are going to notice when you guys join this game is going to be the level of smoke and mirrors. Now, it's going to take you a while to see it. Honestly, it's going to take you a while to see it. And I say that because when you first get in the game, it's all beauty. It's all, wow, look at this. And Maseratis and plaques on the wall. And dudes wearing Giuseppe's and Louis Vuitton belts and this, that, and the third. And it's going to make you feel like, I have to get these things too. I have to look like that to be in this room. I have to. And it kind of creates that type of aura when you get around the game and you see how people move and you see what they're interested in and you see their swag and you see what they wear and all these different type of things like that. However, if you've been in the game for a minute, what you will recognize is that all of these things are props for a show. This is like a theater, right? A lot of things that you see are not what they are. Now, of course, you guys have heard stories about people, getting fake money to throw on their videos or renting cars, and all this other type of stuff. Yeah, of course, we all have accepted that the music videos and the lifestyle and all those other type of things might be fake. But what we have not talked about often in public is the fact that the whole thing might be fake. What do I mean by that? Well, let's talk about it. If you look at it from a grandiose level, okay, with the billions of dollars that the music industry generates, the music industry as a whole has been down. Now we're on an upward trend now. We're growing readily and steadily, which is an amazing thing. We're actually projecting to do 30 plus billion by 2020, I believe, right? So the music industry is going north. However, during this whole time that we were going south, we were still bling blinging and acting like we were flashing and flossing and this, that, and the third, when the truth is, at the end of the day, the music industry was hurting and people weren't making money. So why are there still Maseratis? Why is it Louis V's and Giuseppe's and this, that, and the third? Well, one, there's a huge consumerism mentality within the music industry, especially from a pop and urban standpoint, where people are blowing a whole lot of money on fashion and different things of that nature. Second, the people that are trying to get in have to or feel pressured to look like they are part of that group as well. No one wants to be around someone that's not getting money. So what you end up having is a bunch of people in a room that are not really getting money in music, that may be getting money from other things outside of music, that are pretending that they're getting money in music by wearing things and accentuating the lifestyle of a music person, but people don't really talk about where they're getting their money from. A lot of people in this game, they'll have a hit record on the radio and they're not making any money off of it. These royalty checks could take a year to come, 6 months to come, right? So meanwhile, you have a hit on the radio, but you're not necessarily getting paid, but everyone expects you to look a certain type of way. I've heard stories about, I've talked to a writer whose car broke down on the side of the street and had to walk down the side of the street and was nervous to walk down the side of the street because it didn't want anyone to see who they were walking down the side of the street. And lo and behold, someone recognized them and they're outside looking bummy and broke. And that's not the thing to do. But at the end of the day, some of your favorite writers, some of your favorite rappers, some of your favorite songwriters, some of your favorite singers are living with their mother right now and driving, beat up cars. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a part of the journey. It's a part of being an entrepreneur and growing up and blowing up, right? You may start there and you may build up. I know a producer that's doing his thing. I won't put his name out there. I don't know how much insight he wants. Who started off living with his parents and now has hit records all over the place. Has done stuff with Jay-Z, done stuff with Rick Ross, done stuff with all sorts of people, right? And he still stays with his parents to this day. And he's making crazy bread and drives some crazy whip. And honestly, at this point, he doesn't have to anymore. But why? Why change it? Why flip it up? Why switch? He's a young guy and he's making money, right? But even prior to, he was still at that level. So a lot of times you guys will find in this game that you're going to be forced to accentuate a lifestyle that you're not a part of. Now, let me tell you, I want you guys to know that exists. Now, let me tell you why it exists. The reason why it exists is because by carrying that lifestyle, you show that you belong in the room. You show that you're supposed to be there, that you understand the qualities of that life, that you fit the trajectory of what some of the people in that room have. Typically, if you go to a major studio or something of that nature and you're working around all these guys, the guys that are really getting money are really lax with their dressing a lot of times. You know, I remember hanging around Tricky Stewart over at Red Zone Studios in East Atlanta when I had that opportunity. And my man used to wear a black t-shirt with a chain, with some cargo pants and some simple kicks on. And he was the richest guy in the building. And he was just mad cool. Meanwhile, everyone else is trying to dress up, you know, and act a certain type of way. So like there's a certain culture to the game that honestly, the people at the bottom of the game, so the people that are making money don't care as much, but the people at the bottom, the people that are starting to get traction, that have things going on for themselves, if you don't look the part, they kind of shun you. And so it makes it harder to get to where you really want to go. So I'm saying all of this to tell you guys this. It sounds like I'm rambling, but I'm saying all this to tell you this. If you want to be successful in this business, on some level, you're going to have to play the game. You're gonna have to flex up on social media a little bit. You're gonna have to dress a certain type of way sometimes. You're gonna have to appeal to the people at the bottom bracket that may not be making a whole lot of money in the game, but they've created a certain amount of power and authority for themselves within the game by leveraging their knowledge or leveraging their network to create that power. And you need them to go forward and move to the next level. And since they may have insecurities of themselves in comparison to the people at the next level, they're going to kind of force those insecurities on you, which makes you kind of have to fit the mold to come in there. Now, there are people that don't have to do this. Obviously, if you're an artist and your brand is associated with something that's not flashy, you're an earthy artist, or you're a backpacker, or you're a rocker, or you're whatever, and you represent a certain brand, be your brand when you walk in the building. You don't have to be all extra flashy and this, that, and the third. But for you business people on the back end, you kind of got to get your fashion together until you've proven and yourself and earned something and created some type of value. And that could be, it could be very simple, or it could be extra flashy. There are variants to this. You don't have to go buy Giuseppe's and Louis Vuittons and stand the third, but I do want you guys to recognize that there's a lot of smoke and mirrors in the game. That's all I want you guys to understand, is that there's smoke and mirrors. It exists, and that you have to figure out how you're going to coexist amongst this smoke and amongst these mirrors. You might have to hold a mirror up yourself every now and then just to be a part of the game. It's whack, but it's a part of it. Some of you guys may disagree. I'm really interested in hearing your comments and thoughts on this, but me personally, I've experienced it, and I've had to, you know, move the way that I move. You know, I've spent a couple $100s on jeans before. I've spent a couple $100s on shoes before. I've done certain things that had certain pieces. Now I move a little bit different. Don't have to do it as much, but you know, these things are present, and you do get judged by these things when you walk in the room. So I don't know everything, but I know a lot about a little and a little bit about a lot. I'm trying to give you guys everything that I got. I want you to like, I want you to subscribe, I want you to go to www.fazevi.com and check this information out. All right?